simply by not subscribing. So fix that right now, we're off. It's 10:08 a.m. on the map, it's November Street. And the balance is 38,000, somewhere in the fields. Kostik Cedric is already working under contract. Our character, however, has, shall we say, changed a little during his time in the village. He's age-grown a bit overgrown. And gone bald, what can I say? The working conditions are tough. But that's not the main thing, guys. What matters is what's standing right here at our gates. In the 2 months I've been gone, some things have changed. And the first update is this Shoha. I bought it from a recent local village vagabond, so to speak, but it's in near-perfect condition. She's been well-maintained, guys, and I hope she'll serve me faithfully for many years to come. Kostik just called me and said he's out of fuel. He works there on a Moldovan tractor. And our first goal, which we'll accomplish together, is to head back to base by car. I have, as far as I can remember, several canisters of fuel there. We'll load it all up and quickly take it to the field, so the truck doesn't sit idle. I put Cedric behind the T-150. The field there is quite large. I think it's 10 or 12 hectares. But that's not the point. While I'm halfway to the base, I still want to tell you about our plans. For the near future, the thing is, guys, you already know we bought the forest, which is located here on the right. And our main task is to quickly save up for the sawmill, which is located nearby. Yes, it's old. Kind of abandoned, but guys, in the village, as you know, there's no choice and we have no choice but to cut down trees in the winter. Well, in the meantime, I'm already with the tractor brigade. I've scattered some equipment around here. We definitely need to tidy things up, but I don't remember where we keep the fuel. Damn, I left it somewhere. By the way, our breadwinners are standing here on the left. That's yonder, and actually, our ancient device called coal chesto. You could say it raised us from our knees. We'll put a pedestal on it someday, but for now, our goal is to find fuel. Okay, there's a garage, but I don't think it's here. No, the doors are boarded up. Where did I leave it right? There are a few canisters in that shed by the entrance. Guys, so let's open the rear door of the cabin. By the way, this is what our shocker looks like from the inside. The guy that first bought it from was the first and only owner. He took great care of it. And you can see that the cabin is in perfect condition. Guys, not a fly has landed on it, so I think it was definitely a good purchase. In the meantime, I found 3 canisters in the garage. By the way, you and I will definitely need to buy more fuel for the base, because the situation with it is extremely dire. Right now, after loading up on fuel, I headed towards that very field. It wasn't far, by the way, just a few kilometers along local dirt roads, and right here to the right of a via is that very forest that I hope will start felling very soon. But the main challenge now is that we need to somehow earn 170,000 to buy a sawmill which is nearby, and I won't even mention buying a logging combine, which also costs around 40,000. So our task now is to fulfill contracts and make money by any means necessary. Meanwhile, I've already pulled up to the field. Guys, a terrible job here that, looking at this rut, I honestly want to cry. You could break your legs here. I don't even know if we'll even get paid for this assignment. But listen, there's no other choice. We're working with what we've got. I once told myself not to hire Kostik, the academician, anymore, but no, there aren't enough workers in the village. So we have to make do somehow. So we have Cedric working here on the left. He's doing fine. He's got more experience, and it actually shows. Okay, guys, let's not bother him. Let him keep working. Well, we're off to stop Kostik. He's running on fumes. We're completely out of fuel. I don't know how it even runs. So are you even going to stop, buddy? It's moving stop. Then I quickly add fuel, so as not to disturb our workers. I needed to quickly complete this contract, because by that November evening, I wanted to complete a few more assignments, and that required the workers to work as quickly as possible. But the process was progressing, and I must say quite quickly. The old T150K with its 5-furrow tractor ensured fairly rapid tillage, making Kostik on the Moldovan, with its small 3-furrow plow, look more like a lapdog next to an elephant. But the main thing was that the work was progressing. So on our map, it's already one downer off camera. The workers have plowed another field. 2 plowing contracts. The balance sheet already stands at 90,000. And it would seem that the final goal of 170,000 is already quite close, but it's not so. Now, the short November day is gradually drawing to a close, and our goal is to hop in the Gas 53 and head to the factory to load the products. We have some stuff piled up there. After that, we'll try to sell it all. And now, as I pull up to the site, I realize, damn, there's weed growing here. Well, more precisely, how it all rotted. I can't imagine how we even forgot about this week. For those of you who remember, we have this big field there behind the forest. About 9 or 10 hectares. We cleared it, I missed it. But I somehow completely forgot about this little vegetable garden. But never mind, that's not the point. The main thing is, what's in the yard? And here we have about 6 pallets of prime. First-grade raw material, actually. That's probably why I forgot about this field. While I was distilling the first-grade raw material, I somehow didn't have time for it. So we'll load it all together. How much is this 6,000 liters? Yes, we'll sell it all at the village store. It's literally 50 meters from here, where Aunt Belia paid me $16,500 on the spot. Well, it seems pretty good. That's money. Then we needed to head to another point in our area. For those of you who remember, we have a quarry. I once set up a small workshop there that produces roofing panels. I haven't been there for quite some time. So when I arrived, I found 6 whole pallets of roofing panels. We're alive now. Our task is to load it all. And again, yes, we need to start production. Because it's idle. We've run out of raw materials here. Okay, so let's put the lawn somewhere here by the road. And to get it going, we need to get on the MK door, which for some reason, I abandoned right here in a puddle. By the way, I have big plans for this quarry in the future later. When we have the money, I'll move the Ampador to the base. It will be more useful there, and we'll bring it here, or rather, buy huge conveyor belts also. When the funds appear, we'll buy spacious trucks and transport the crushed stone for sale. And so after working behind the scenes for a while, everything was ready. Now I just have to head to the point of sale. This is the local village store, which buys absolutely everything. The plan is to stop by the sawmill now. It's right on the way to the store. And guys, I still want to inspect it to see if it's even worth buying. Or maybe everything in there is completely destroyed. So, we park the Gas 53 right here by the side of the road. But it's immediately obvious that the area is overgrown. No one really comes here all this. As you can imagine, is a remnant of the Soviet Union. Folks at work somehow. But obviously the equipment is old. The sheds are old and mossy. I won't even mention the condition of this garage, or whatever it is, but in theory, look, the forest is literally on the hill. So well. About 50, maybe 100 meters, right? There are already trees here. We could remove this fence, build a regular dirt road here, and transport the wood directly from the forest via shortcut here and process it right there. The only thing is, I don't know the capacity of this production facility. There's a risk it will be very slow when I get to the village store. I get another 17,000 added to the bank. The total balance is already almost 125K. And that's not bad, by the way, guys. Let's need to get some feed in there soon. Luckily, there's some weed in the sheds. But more on that later first. We needed to stop by the local village manure heap. At MAZEK, you can buy it there for a low price. And manure, as you may remember, we need it for the greenhouses. We have 2 small ones that run on manure and water. We're still running low, so we need to get some more. So I immediately bought 8 tons of manure there. Then turned around and headed in the direction of our village lads. I got there pretty quickly. By the way, friends, if anyone remembers, I moved our hard-working MTZ-10 here beforehand. It's here for backup, because sometimes we need to haul water. There's a river nearby. We fill it up and using a tractor, tow this tanker that's parked here. But I digress. All that remained was to unload the trailer, and then head back to the manure pile. to make a few more trips. That's how the work progressed. When everything was ready, I returned home, and essentially in November, I don't see any more work for us, which means we can go to sleep. But there's one small problem, and it's the snow. Just look at how much of it is here. Holy, it's more than knee-deep here. And you know, if I want to save up for that foxbell, as quickly as possible, we'll have to clear the snow. And, yeah, my respects to whoever made this mod. Initially, I wanted to get a 6-seater to go to the basin, but look how buried it is. No, that's a definitely bad idea. We won't even be able to move it now, let alone drive anywhere, yeah. The situation at the base is no better. Of course, everything here is also covered in snow. And the first task, guys, is probably that I don't even know what to do. Let's take a look at the special section. Maybe... We paid $95 for delivery. It's not a small amount. But the main thing is that the plow is already at the base, so you and I can immediately get into our breadwinner. There it is, standing under the canopy of the T150K. We start this machine, and let's somehow try to drive through the snow. In a situation like this, tire chains would be ideal, of course. But unfortunately, they're not provided here, so we'll have to make do. So I think you and I need to start by clearing the base. After that, we'll somehow clear a path toward the greenhouses. To tow the platform there, okay? We'll go clear the road in the T150K. But what are we going to tow the platform in? I'd like to go clear it. And have someone drive behind us right away. We'll probably take a mosh. Well, let's call Kostik now. Tell him to come over, get behind the wheel, and we'll hook our platform up to the mosh. Meanwhile, I'm lowering the plow into the snow and realize something's clearly wrong. Either there's too much snow, or it's too compact, or the tractor clearly doesn't have enough power. But one thing is certain, the tester isn't coping. Not at all, damn. I'm flooring the gas right now, and the wheels are slipping. I mean, it's clearly lacking power. We've cleared literally maybe 10 meters, and then it piles up a bunch in front of itself and refuses to move. That's the problem. So I think you and I, this village, you know what it's like. Very snowy. And something like that would be really useful. Then I hook up the snowblower and start clearing the road. First, I cleared the base, and then I headed into the village to clear the local streets. I think I've somehow cleared the road. In the surrounding area, I've cleared the base here, guys. And our task now is to get into the mass. Then we try to somehow get out of here, through this snow. Then we hook up a flatbed truck and hope to somehow reach the greenhouses. Then Kostik shows up at the base, and I hand over the mosh to him. I transfer to the T150K and continue clearing a path toward the greenhouses. When I reach the greenhouse, I realize there's even more snow here. Everything is completely buried, and the saddest thing is that the trays of lettuce and tomatoes are completely buried under a snowdrift. Yeah, that's definitely not a good thing. So after working for a while clearing the area of snow, all that was left was to drive the mosh here and load the pallets onto the flatbed truck, since we probably haven't sold anything from here. For half a year, a fair amount of lettuce and tomatoes had accumulated. So after loading all this stuff off camera, well, as everyone else knows, there are still, I guess, a few boxes left, right? I'm more worried now about how we're going to get all this stuff here. Because yes, we cleared the road, but it's still slippery. Oh well, let's hope God helps us with this. Well, first of all, let's move to the T150K. I'm heading towards the chicken coop now. We'll drive here in the Maz. We also need to load everything. I've accumulated 9 pallets here, so the main task now is to clear everything, so we can turn around and load it all quickly. In the meantime, I somehow managed to drag myself to the local village store. I didn't have time to clear the road here, so I had a lot of trouble driving. The wheels were slipping. Not to mention, I skidded a few times. We brought in 44,000 liters of vegetables. The question is, how much will they pay for it? Let's check it out right now. So having sold all this stuff, I've earned over 63,000 rubles. I spin eggs behind the scenes using the same scheme. And sell them as well, they bring in +1. Now I have almost 200,000 rubles in my pocket. That's great at the very least. This amount will be enough for us to buy that sawmill. But let's not forget that we still need to buy some kind of logging machine. And they're not cheap, I'd say. But I already know how we'll reach the wasting time constantly selling all this stuff. But first we need to get the water. And frankly, that was a bit of a challenge. Because the MTZ constantly slips. The wheels are slipping, but that's not surprising. After all, everything is covered in snow. And besides, the tank probably weighs about 8 tons loaded. But I managed. Now all we have to do is wait for the snow to melt. And we can begin large-scale logging. And now, a cold January evening has descended upon the village. I'm going to bed. Oh, and now we'll check how much they'll pay us for the automatic vegetable sales. For example, I blew it from 12 souls. Yes, we had lunch until 8 p.m., and our balance is 200. 8K since it was 198. It turns out we earned 10,000 on a total deficit. I woke up in February, it was already lunchtime. And the balance was 224K, the snow had melted. The sun was shining and, I feel like it's already spring. Even though it's February. Okay, anyway. You and I are getting into the sledge now. And we're probably heading straight for that old sawmill. Now, while I'm behind the wheel, I need to the sawmill dam. How cool that it's located right in the village. The same can't be said about our greenhouses, quarry, and chicken coops. They're all scattered around the area. God knows where, and frankly, in the future I want to build a logistics center somewhere in the village. This will allow us to collect products from all the factories in one place. But that's not the point now. So guys, I've already arrived at the sawmill. Actually, this is what it looks like. Yeah, we've seen it before. Old Soviet half abandoned. But ours, I'm spending 170,000 on it. I don't know if this is a good idea, but time will tell meanwhile. I've arrived at the base, where new equipment is already waiting for me. I think it will be a pleasure to work on it. So I immediately start the engine and head out into the forest. It's good that at least it's nearby. Yeah, the trees here are big, and I think the timber yield will be quite substantial. The main thing for us now is to figure out how this thing works. So we drive up to this first spruce tree. We start the equipment. It turns out that we're grabbing the spruce with a boom. Then the machine automatically fells the tree, after which I saw it all into even 5-meter-long logs. So what's the result? I felled about 5 spruce trees. And I must say, the machine has completely justified itself. It's a real tree killer. I think this amount of wood will last for a while. Now the main task is somehow loading it all up and transporting it to the factory. I've already hooked up the trailer. So we're heading to the forest. The first batch is ready. So we're transporting it all to the factory. Just look at how huge these logs are. The only problem is at this rate, we'll use up this forest in about 5 months. So we shouldn't count on it for long. In any case, when we've cut it all down, I think we'll plant a new tree in its place. But I'm afraid our character won't even live long enough to see them grow. Okay, let's think about new sources of income. Meanwhile, I've already arrived at the factory. I'm unloading now, it turns. We can only produce a maximum of 1 pallet of these wooden beams per month, which, by the way, I've already included, unless we can somehow make some extra money nearby. build another more modern plant. But again, that means money. And money in this village is earned with sweat and tears. Then off camera, I'm working, bringing up another trailer of wood. And parking the tractor spring is coming, and there's a huge amount of work ahead. That includes fields and animals. However, I want to buy a huge new livestock complex. We'll be raising cattle, guys, and that's a new investment, a new problem, and a new, interesting episode, which will soon be airing on this channel. Thanks everyone for watching, and bye-bye, yeah.